Hello. In this video, we are going to go through the first impressions and analysis of NMAT 2020. So let's get started. For the first time this year, NMAT was conducted in an adaptive format, and there was no option given to students to skip a particular question. If you tried skipping a question, there was a pop-up which said you must complete your answer to this question to continue. And because the test was adaptive, the kind of questions which were asked on the test or the difficulty of those questions would depend on how one is performing during the test. If you start getting questions correct, if you answer a question correctly, the next question could be of similar or higher difficulty level, and that will continue to happen. Or if you answer a question incorrectly, the next question could be of a lower difficulty level. So throughout the paper, the difficulty of the test will continue to fluctuate. The instructions for the test mentioned that any unattempted questions at the end of the section would attract a penalty. This was something that we had covered when we discussed NMAT preparation in our How to Crack NMAT video as well, that any unattempted questions this year are going to carry penalty. Now, how much is that penalty? We don't know. An option to decide the section attempt order was given to students at the beginning of the test. Now, this is classic NMAT. They have always given an option to decide the order in which you want to attempt the sections of the paper. So you should select the order that you are the most comfortable with. Now, let's look at the test structure. As mentioned by NMAT on their official website, the pattern was there were equal number of questions in the three areas, that is language skills, quantitative skills, and logical reasoning. However, the time allotted for each of these sections was different. For language skills, you had 28 minutes. For quant, you had 52. And for logic, you had 40 minutes. So the total duration of the test was 120. And there were 108 questions in total spread over three sections. So let's look at each of these sections individually and see what kind of questions were asked on the test. We'll start with the quantitative skills section. On the quantitative skills, you had 36 questions, and this was divided as 19 questions on problem solving, 12 questions on data interpretation, and that appeared in the form of different sets. We'll talk about it a little later. And there were 5 questions on data sufficiency. So that makes it total of 36 questions. And this stayed in line with what has been the trend, where they ask a lot of questions on problem solving and few questions on data interpretation and data sufficiency. However, there were some surprises this year. Unlike last year's NMAT, there were quite a few topics which were dropped this year. And let's understand at a sectional level and at a topic and a subtopic level what kind of questions were asked. On the problem solving front, a lot of questions appeared from modern maths and arithmetic. So let's start with modern math first. Modern math, you had quite a few questions on arithmetic progression, probability, permutation combination, set theory, and logarithms. Coming to arithmetic, there were no questions from time speed distance, which was a surprise. And you had a couple of questions from SICI, percentages, time and work, ratio proportion, and mixtures. So these topics are arithmetic topics. And if you had done these topics well, I think a lot of questions which appeared could have been done. There were no geometry questions this time. And there was one question which was reported, which was on mensuration. Students also reported getting questions on numbers, but there weren't many. Data interpretation, you had 3 sets, and in these 3 DI sets, one was a bar chart, there was a line graph, and there was a table. Now, a lot of students found these sets to be calculation intensive, and the key was to not spend a lot of time on questions and try to approximate and get to the answer in a faster manner. When it comes to data sufficiency, there were 5 questions, and they appeared from miscellaneous topics. So in the previous year, we have seen that NMAT has asked a lot of DS questions focused on numbers. But this year, that was not the trend. So data sufficiency questions also were kind of appearing from different topics within quant. Let's talk about logical reasoning section. Now, in logical reasoning, there were 36 questions, and this was equally distributed between verbal reasoning and non-verbal reasoning questions, and you had 18 questions of each area. Let's understand in each of these areas what kind of questions were asked to the students. Speaking of verbal reasoning, we had a lot of questions on course of action decision making. There were a few questions on implicit statements, strong and weak argument, questions also on logical consistency, critical reasoning, whether it is strengthening argument or inference or conclusion or assumptions, all these question types made an appearance. And there were 2 questions on syllogisms as well. When it comes to non-verbal reasoning questions, students reported questions from grouping and conditionalities. There was one set which had 5 questions. Students also said that some of them got 2 sets of sequential output, which is a little surprising. Traditionally, NMAT has asked 1 question or 1 set on sequential output, but some of the students got 2 sets. There was a question on Venn diagram, questions on ranking in queue, logical puzzle, and figure-based numerical also made an appearance. Let's move to the language skills. In language skills, out of 36 questions, 12 questions appeared from reading comprehension. There were 3 passages of 4 questions each. The remaining 24 questions were a mixed bag and were from verbal ability. So let's understand what kind of questions were asked in these areas. As mentioned earlier, reading comprehension had 3 passages with 4 questions each. Now, the passages were not very lengthy. The typical length that was found was around 450 to 500 words. In the verbal section, you had questions on parajumbles. So, parajumbles typically had 4 to 5 sentences, and there were 4 questions of parajumbles. You had questions on analogies, and there were 6 questions of that type. Questions on fill in the blanks also made an appearance, the way it is for previous NMAT as well. There were 2 blanks, and it was combination of grammar questions and vocabulary questions. You had questions on fill in the blanks. There were 3 preposition blanks which were given. And you also had questions on spotting the error, which is a grammar question, but framed as a spot the error question, which also made an appearance. Again, this distribution is not something which will be constant for everyone. Depending on how you're performing in the test, you might get different distribution in each of the sections that we have covered so far. Having looked at each of the sections, now let's understand some of the frequently asked questions that you might have. So you must be wondering, what was the interface like? Now this year, there were a couple of changes. Firstly, the user interface had 3 options, and these buttons were one, which was for help. So if you want to read instructions, you can use that. The second one was colors, so you can adjust color, and this was an interesting thing. You had a night vision or night mode also, which was white font on black background. So typically, of course, the black font on white background is standard, but they also gave an option to have white font on black background. Lastly, there was an option to zoom in, which means you can increase the font size, and the options given were 100%, 125%, and 150%. And as it is an adaptive test, there was no option to mark for review a particular thing because you can't go back to any of the questions. I have spoken at length on the kind of questions which are asked, but you must be wondering what was the sectional or overall difficulty like, or why didn't I comment anything on that? Now, see, the test is adaptive. So the question difficulty is going to depend on how you are performing on the test. And that is why nobody can exactly ascertain what was the overall difficulty like. The students that I spoke to told me that the questions, some of them were easy, some of them were medium, some of them were difficult, and that is bound to happen because that will depend on how you're doing on the test. Now, all the IMS mocks have been designed to match the difficulty of the actual test. So we have created tests that are in line with the kind of question or the range of questions that you're going to get on the actual test. And lastly, what happens after the test? Now, this year, you get to know your score immediately. The moment you submit your test, you get to see your scorecard, in which you will see the score that you have obtained in each of the section and the total score that you have obtained. Now, this is brilliant because now you can decide whether you want to take another attempt or not and start planning for it in the right direction. So this concludes the frequently asked questions. Let's understand how can IMS help you. We have NMAT SNAP CET and CMAT specific batches, and you can enroll for these and prepare for NMAT. You can also look at joining our NMAT test series, which is in line with the difficulty of the actual test. For more details, please speak to your nearest IMS center, or you can visit our website, which is imsindia.com. There are various ways in which you can stay connected with us. You can follow our YouTube channel, and we are there on all the social media platforms through which you can get all the updates. I wish all the best to all the NMAT takers. Make sure that you prepare well for the remaining exams and have a fantastic season ahead.